morning, everyone. So, in the blue booklet that you've got, there is a section which is in more detail than what I have time to discuss today about the medical benefits of fasting, and you'll find a bunch of references in the back there as well if you want kind of further information. So the month of Ramadan is a great opportunity to focus on developing a balanced and healthy lifestyle, developing good habits and giving up any bad habits. And they say it takes 30 days to make a habit and break a habit, so it is the perfect time to do that. Many people wonder about what the health benefits are for fasting and whether there's any evidence for this, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. So the changes that take place inside the body when we start fasting depend on how long we're fasting. Technically, the body will enter into a fasting state around 8 hours after the last meal, when the gut's finished absorbing its nutrients from the food you've just eaten. In the normal state, body glucose is stored in the liver and the muscles, and it's the main source of energy for the body. When we fast, the stored glucose is used up first to provide energy. Later on in the fast, once the glucose runs out, stored fat becomes the next energy source. If a person goes through prolonged starvation, then you enter into an unhealthy state where you start breaking down muscle. But the wonderful thing about fasting the way that we do it is that your body gets a chance to replenish everything. So once you've broken your fast in the evening, you get to absorb all of the water, all of the nutrients, and so you continue to burn fat in the correct way, but that really depends on what you're eating. So there is a right way to do fasting and there is a wrong way to do fasting, and that's what I'm going to mention a little bit later on. I don't have that much time to talk, so I'm going to kind of cut on to some of the main research findings recently about the medical benefits of fasting. And as I say, you can look further in detail in the booklet. Some of the really interesting things that I found, there's a lot of research going on at the moment about intermittent fasting. You will have heard about the 5-2 diet in books and on the television, and that's where you fast 2 days out of 7 in the week. And that's actually a prophetic tradition. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to fast Mondays and Thursdays every week. And intermittent fasting, which basically means you fast one day and then you break the next day, and you can do it either alternate day or 2 days a week, 3 days a week. There's various types of intermittent fasting. Some of the benefits that have been found are, in addition to sort of reducing body fat and body weight, it really helps to improve our metabolism. So things like diabetes, there's a reduced risk of developing diabetes, and also it improves our what's called insulin sensitivity. So normally when we eat something, the body releases insulin to try and bring the sugar down and store it into fat in the muscles, or as glycogen in the muscles. And when we're not eating for long periods of time, the body gets a break, the pancreas gets a break from releasing the insulin. So what happens is the sensitivity to that hormone, insulin, increases during the fasting period. So research is showing that it reduces the risk of diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and also reduces blood pressure by about 10 millimeters of mercury. There's also lots of psychological benefits of fasting, which include reduced anger and stress and general improved mental well-being, which occurs after the first probably 3 days of fasting when you release endorphins. The first couple of days of fasting you can be quite ratty and quite agitated, but after that, once you get used to it, you actually feel a bit of an elevation in your mood. There's also evidence to show that lots of inflammatory conditions such as asthma and rheumatoid arthritis also improve. And one of the mechanisms by which this happens is that it helps to reduce oxidative stress, so damage to DNA, damage to cells, and also promoting cells that are damaged to die off early, preventing it sort of going on to more long-term conditions like cancer, aging, lots of neurodegenerative diseases, all of these kinds of things. Fasting has been shown to help prevent that, and also to help boost the immune system also. So these are just a kind of quick whistle-stop tour of some of the latest kind of research findings, and there's a lot more research going on at the moment, so there will be more and more information coming to light. Now, when I mentioned about the right way and the wrong way of fasting, just to kind of finish on this, so the best types of things to have when you do break your fast, we have, in Ramadan we have 2 meals, so we have the Iftar meal, which is one we're going to have now, and then we have the Suhoor, which is the pre-dawn meal, the kind of breakfast meal before we start. So the best things to kind of have is plenty of fluids, so water is the best thing for that, complex carbohydrates, vegetables, fruits, protein, and the things to avoid are the kind of deep-fried, high-fat things, which a lot of us do indulge in. But it's best to kind of avoid that if you want to get the maximal benefits of fasting. But as I say, you can find more information in the booklet, and also NHS has a really good document called Ramadan Guide to Fasting. You can find more information there as well. Thanks very much.